And we are live. Hey, it's Wei from the Six Figure Academy, and welcome to another Happy Snack at Noon. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the show where we do this every single week on Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time to give you a little happy snack when it comes to financial success, happiness, success, and all those different things. Because here at the Six Figure Academy, it's all about increasing your money flow, optimizing your mindset, but more importantly, creating life mastery around success and happiness. So it's not just about the money. I've often get asked, what is the Six Figure Academy? Is it all about money? No, it's about the metaphor that the Six Figure Academy represents. Now, that being said, this week's topic is about the three rules of how to make you, three rules to make you rich. Okay. Now, we all want to know what richness is. We talked about it before in previous Happy Snacks, where it's less important about being rich as other people define it, but more importantly, how you define what it means to be rich. Now, assuming that you define that, here are some three fundamental rules that'll help get you started. And it's not going to be what you expect. Most of the time, when you find these three rules, it's all about mindset strategy, sales strategy, whatever the case may be. Here at the Six Figure Academy, or at least in my world, it's all about working with the ecosystem of self, working on the entirety of the vehicle and the instrument responsible, which is you, all of you, to helping you get rich. So, the important thing to understand before I present these three rules is to recognize that there is a method to the madness. It has to be in this order that I'm about to share with you. I have this really nifty program now that allows me to do some quick overlays, so it'll make it even easier for you to take notes on this week's Happy Snack. Okay, so if you're watching this live, cool, have your notebook out. If you're not watching this live, cool, have your notebook out. Okay, so let's talk about the first rule of how to make you rich. The first rule is know thyself and then honor thyself. Since the beginning of time, the Greek philosophers have always encouraged humanity, to spend their time in their lives, or at least invest some time and energy and even money in this day and age, to getting to know thyself, know yourself. But what's missing from that component is that a lot of times, what I mean by knowing thyself is personal development work, personal growth work, investing in a coach and a mentor, in going to seminars and trainings and all these different things that we can do, like reading books to help understand ourselves better, or take our patented human assessment technology and learn about yourself, get your own operating manual. Now, once you know yourself, that's just the first step. The next step of that rule is to honor thyself. And this is where a lot of people miss the boat. So many people, they get stuck on this seminar junkie-ish type of approach on getting to know thyself, and they forget that you have to apply those principles. Apply what you learn about yourself so that you can shift from the paradigm of existence that you have from before. This is where a lot of people fail and struggle with personal development and personal growth, is that they learn about themselves, they learn what their vehicle can do, but they don't do anything with it, and they just keep running that old stuff. So you have to know thyself, and then next you have to honor thyself and be willing to basically shift and change the rules on what it means to be successful in your own unique way. So you have to honor yourself. You have to take care of yourself. It's all about self-care. Self-care is the number one priority. Why? Because you yourself are the instrument in the vehicle for what is responsible for making you rich. So if you become rich by using some other strategy, but you neglect yourself, all the money that you're making and all the success that you gain is going to be having to reinvest back into keeping yourself alive if you don't take care of yourself. We've heard so many stories of how that happens. So anyway, that's the first one. The next rule then, which kind of leads into from after you start doing, you know thyself and you honor thyself, and you want to challenge the rules of existence that were there, that you've established before you learned about your unique way of creating richness or success, is to challenge your money truths and your money stories. Also known as be willing to change and eliminate bad money stories. If your definition of being rich includes money flow, then this is an is a critical piece. We have an entire program designed just to help people, our students, our clients, eliminate bad money stories. These are the stories that run on a deep unconscious level that get in the way of making the best decisions when it comes to money. Now, when you start to know thyself and you start to take care of yourself, you will start to have an awareness that some of the ways that you've regarded money or you learned about money may not necessarily fit with how you are uniquely designed to be successful. And so all those definitions of money, all those truths around money, and all those stories around money, you have to be willing to challenge them. Before you can even identify whether it's a good story or a bad story, be willing to challenge every truth, every rule, every definition that you have around money so that you can reveal the stories that do work for you and also and most importantly, the stories that don't work for you. Okay. So that's a really important rule. So that's the next step. After you know thyself and honor thyself, then you want to challenge your money truths. Okay. And then the third rule, again, none of this has to do with sales. None of this has anything to do with money-making strategies, is number 3 is to take imperfect action. And not just in business, not just in making money, but to embrace failure, to take imperfect action so you can experience failure. I don't know how many times that I've launched a new campaign or launched, some kind of a new project, and there's a part of me that is actually looking to epically fail. Why? And this is something you want to take in. This is something that we're not taught either in school. We're taught to shun away from failure. But here's the reality of everything when it comes to failure and success. And write this down if you've never heard of this before. If you've been around me, you've heard it a lot. The reality is we learn nothing about ourselves, about life, about money from our successes. On the other hand, we learn everything from our failures. Now, we can learn a little bit something about modeling other people's success, but we're not going to learn as much unless we fail ourselves. Why is that? Success is simply proof that you learned from your failures. Success is proof that what you learned actually works. But you're learning nothing from it except that that's feedback. Success is a feedback mechanism, whereas failure is an opportunity for us to grow from where we were before. We failed because we were running a paradigm, a truth, a definition from before that no longer works, and thus giving us an opportunity to find a new way of doing things, a new way of living, a new way of making money, a new way of creating success in our lives, so that we can actually grow and become rich in life, rich in money, rich in love, rich in friendships, everything. These 3 rules actually apply to all areas of life, including the money truth piece. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how many times with our students and clients we've gone so deep around bad money stories that realize it had nothing to do with money. And if you've been following for a while these happy snacks or even following my videos, you'll notice that I say this all the time. Your money stories or your money problems and your money blocks have very little to do with money, if at all. We've just used money as a very bad scapegoat, and that actually keeps us stuck. Okay? So, to quickly review, here are the 3 basic rules that if you follow these rules in order to and apply and execute them, this is how you have grace and ease in becoming rich, however you define rich to be in your life. Number 1, know thyself, honor thyself, apply self-care. When in doubt, apply self-care, because that will give you clarity of thought so you make the best decision for yourself, because then you know thyself and what's best for you. Number 2, you want to challenge those money truths and those definitions, those stories, so that you can identify which ones are the bad money stories to rewrite, re-engineer, and get rid of, or which ones are good stories, which you should keep. And number 3, of course, is to take imperfect action, embrace failure. In fact, look forward to failing so that you can learn and grow. The faster you fail, the faster you'll learn, okay? And it doesn't have to be fast or slow, as long as you're willing to embrace it. You apply these 3 rules diligently over and over again, then being rich becomes an endeavor that is gracefully easy. Okay, we see this happen not just in theory, but with all of our students and all of our clients, and even in my own life, that just got to share that as a quick little happy snack. Okay. So hopefully that makes you happy. Hopefully you embrace this. Would love to hear your comments below if you have any questions about those 3 rules, or if you think there are other rules that I should have added, or if you have any questions about that, or if there's another happy snack topic that you would love for me to share in upcoming weeks, then just do that. Other than that, take these rules, apply them as quickly as possible, and see if you can create a shift as early as this week. And then I will see you next week for another happy snack at noon. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next week.